Washington Grown is brought to you by the Potato Farmers of Washington. Learn why Washington is home to the world's most productive potato fields and farmers by visiting potatoes.com. And by the Washington State Department of Agriculture, supporting the viability and vitality of Washington agriculture. And by Northwest Farm Credit Services, supporting agriculture and rural communities with reliable, consistent credit and financial services today and tomorrow.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy Goranson and welcome to Washington Grown. If you've watched TV or been on the internet these past couple of years, you're probably familiar with the term foodie. In this episode, we're going to be exploring some of the coolest foodie things in Washington. Tomas is learning what it takes to be a food influencer.
Very classic Seattle dim sum place. Best in Chinatown. You might as well say best in Seattle.
And I'm making Indian chaat at Misha in Fremont.
Ta-da!
Chaat, ready. It's beautiful. Then Val's touring Chateau Ste Michelle's white wine facility.
Oh, I'll take one of these barrels. This is nice.
You take the whole tank home? Yeah.
All this and more today on Washington Grown. It's hard when you're as short as I am.
Come and see Christy.
Ta-da!
It's like I can taste the sunshine.
Cheers. Bring him in. Bring him in. Boom.
The calories are adding up.
No calories in this.
You don't get to do this every day.
In the Fremont neighborhood of Seattle, there's a small little restaurant making a big splash on the food scene. Misha's unique and flavorful twist on traditional Indian cuisine keeps people coming back time and time again.
Fun drinks, fun food, shareable meals.
It's amazing. It's really, really good. I'm enjoying it a lot.
I think this is one of those restaurants where you'll try it once and then you'll be like, yo, we'll definitely be back. It's definitely a comeback for sure.
People know when they're coming to Misha, they are getting really flavorful, contemporary Indian cuisine.
Owner Preeti Agarwal is bringing Indian-inspired dishes to Seattle using local ingredients and unique flavor profiles.
Seattle, that way, is so good. They really take their food seriously and they really appreciate good food, high quality food with local ingredients. That's the thing I really love about Seattle.
Everything is really fresh. It's just these creative preparations. I mean, there's a lot of care paid to every ingredient.
I don't know, it's just really bright and fresh and good.
How do I describe this food? Indian food done really well, with a little twist.
Our vegetables are all locally grown here that we get. We do have small farms from where we're getting our chicken, plus Indian stuff also that I get, the spices and everything.
So you're supporting the community.
Yes, always.
Yeah. Don't miss later in the show when Preeti and I make a unique chaat dish. It's like an explosion of flavor.
If you're looking for a fun and unique eating experience, then look no further than the International District here in Seattle. But there's so many places to eat, I just can't decide. Today, I'm eating with Steven Ducky, better known as food influencer Seattle Foodie Adventure on Instagram. As we walked to one of his favorite spots, Steven showed me just how much he knows about restaurants in Seattle.
This restaurant across the street, Tai Tong, this is actually one of the oldest restaurants in Seattle. And then right here, look to your left, this is where the locals actually go for Chinese barbecue. And this restaurant right here, they just opened their second location. Chinese barbecue duck, barbecue pork belly. I was actually there last night, and that's what I ate for leftovers for breakfast this morning. Jade Garden, that's where we're going.
Okay.
Very classic Seattle dim sum place.
Best in Chinatown.
Best in Chinatown.
Okay.
You might as well say best in Seattle. Don't just call Chinatown,
Okay.
best in Seattle.
As we were waiting for our food at the Jade Garden, Steven showed me some of his gear. So how
Nothing
did you
complex.
even get into this in the first place? Now, I understand that this wasn't like a goal. You just kind of fell into it, right?
It wasn't a goal. I didn't know what I was doing. It's crazy. When I hit 8,000 followers,
8,000 followers.
yeah,
Okay.
I got my first offer from my brand at $1,000 just for one post. And I'm like, why would this brand offer me $1,000 just to put a food picture? And then that's when I knew it was really serious. At 8,000 followers, I can make $1,000, you know? It's been really awesome meeting a lot of different restaurants and chefs and owners and
Well, as soon as we walked in, hey, Steven,
Yeah.
they know you. A huge part of being a great food influencer is taking irresistible photos of your food.
I'm kind of old school, as you can tell. I use an old camera. So I'll get my phone, make sure you tap on it, make it focus, and boom. Just because I have a big page, you know, it doesn't mean that I'm like a professional. I'm still learning. So I got this a couple months ago, and I've been using my Samsung since 2017, and I use this little tiny light. So I learned it's like, you know what? It's not the kind of equipment you have. It's
not
your
up to you.
skill and engaging and seeing what people like, and most importantly, what I like. In order to get like really high engagement, a lot of views, timing is key. I like to post it around 4 p.m. That's when people get off work, they're on a bus, they're on their phones, I'll decide, okay, which photo I think is the best, and how to determine that is what looks really colorful. I provide the address and the name of the dish, and sometimes I put the cost. Very simple, straightforward.
That's it.
Because the concept of Instagram is like you're on your phone, you're just scrolling. It's very quick and fast.
Gotcha.
So I just keep it very simple and straightforward.
Gotta
and I think
engage them
that's
quick.
why people like it.
All right, enough talk. It's time to eat. This is a volcano of sweet custard. This stuff was really good. I'm really excited to try something new, and I can tell you got a bright future ahead of you. And the next time you guys are in Seattle, Seattle Foodie Adventure, look him up, and he'll tell you all the great places to go, including this one. Let's eat.
All right, let's go.
Although we usually think of Washington wine grapes growing under the sun in the Columbia Valley, today I'm taking a trip to Woodinville, where Chateau Ste Michelle has their fantastic white wine facility.
As a winemaker, one of the most amazing things about making Washington wine is that in Washington we can grow a huge array of grape varieties really well.
David Rosenthal is the head white winemaker at Chateau Ste Michelle. Although they make their wine here, most of the grapes are grown in the Columbia Valley. Why does Washington produce such wonderful wines?
How much time do we have? Obviously here in the Seattle area we get lots of rain, but in eastern Washington it's really ideal conditions for growing grapes. It's dry, it's sunny, and we have nutrient deficient soils, which is a little opposite of what you would think, but when we grow grapes in places like Seattle, and you can kind of see it over here, they grow big, lush canopies. Well, that's great, except that means they're not putting quite as much energy into the fruit. So if we grow grapes in places that have a little less nutrients in the soil, they put more energy into the grapes, which gives us more flavor.
Next, David took me on a tour to the barrel room.
This is one of the largest white wine barrel programs in the world. We have about 27,000 barrels dedicated to white wine. When we pick grapes and we get let's say 500 gallons of juice, we won't just put it in one type of barrel. We'll put it in 4 or 5 or 6 different styles of barrel, right? Some brand new barrels, which give us a lot of oakiness, some 2-year-old barrels, some 4-year-old barrels, and that gives us, again, different flavors and textures to play with. Within our 27,000 barrels, about 200 to 250 different groups of barrels. So we'll sit down, we'll taste a sample from each one of those 250 groups, and then we'll start to sort of divide up and really dive into each group. And we'll taste the individual barrel types within each group, and even in some cases, individual barrels within each barrel type, within each group of barrels. So it's quite an exhaustive process.
David, that is extraordinary. I mean, seriously.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And that's what's great about wine, right? It's this science side of things, right? It's fermentation and yeast and bacteria and acids and sugars. And then you get down to the tasting part, and it's this sort of artistic representation of what we think is the best way to combine all of these barrels into the various styles of Chardonnay that we make.
Then we went to the wine cellar, where David let me taste some wine straight from the tank.
This is our Indian Wells Chardonnay. We have taken all the individual barrels, blended them together into one tank. Really tropical fruit, mangoes and papaya, and nice rich style.
Oh, I'll take one of these barrels. This is nice.
You take the whole tank home? Yeah.
Finally, my favorite part, we sat down to compare 2 of their white wines.
The first one here on our left is our Eroica Riesling. These grapes come from the ancient lakes area of Washington State, which is right near the Gorge Amphitheater. It gives this wine beautiful sort of lime and mandarin character.
I haven't been attracted to Rieslings? Wow, I've been missing out.
And this is the wine that I always pour for people that say they don't like Riesling. The second wine that we're going to taste, our Columbia Valley Riesling. It's kind of the wine that put Chateau Ste Michelle on the map. It's a little bit more tropical in its fruit flavors, a little bit more peach and apricot, things like that, maybe even a little tropical pineapple.
I was gonna say pineapple?
We want it to taste like sunshine in a bottle, right? Great thing about Washington is we have this diverse selection of wine grapes that we can grow, and then each region produces different styles, right? And so we have this array of colors on our palette that we can sort of paint the picture with. You can really sort of taste what we call terroir, or that sense of place, right, in the grapes. And that's one of the things that draws people to wine, is that you do get this sense of place in each bottle. If you were to sort of write a checklist of what you want in a great grape growing region, Washington would be it.
Coming up, I'm making Indian chaat at Misha in Fremont.
Ta-da!
It's beautiful. And we're in the kitchen at Second Harvest trying out some pears and wine. We're back in Fremont at Misha. An intimate setting paired with unique food and creative cocktails makes this the perfect spot for an evening out on the town.
It's just that fine line between something nice and casual and something that you can dress up for.
It's got this kind of nice sort of modern, clean vibe to it.
And the food is...
Normally, unfortunately, Indian food is not that popular in a way like for fine dining.
Owner Preeti Agarwal wants people to have a unique dining experience, bringing some of her favorite dishes from India to Fremont.
This is the real Indian food that I want people to know, because believe me, in India, if you go, there are so many different cuisines, there are so many different recipes and dishes that people had no idea here. Hey, Indian food is not just for takeout. You can go and enjoy with lovely wine or a cocktail and have a good time.
How do I describe this food? Indian food done really well, with a little twist.
The flavors were really good.
This food, it has a lot of Indian influences, but it's also just very modern and bright and fresh.
It's a total package. It's not just Indian food. It's about the creative cocktails to pair with my food, plus good ambiance, so you can come and celebrate a special occasion and just have a good time.
What are we going to make today?
So today we're going to make this amazing chaat. It calls chana chaat. Chana means garbanzo beans or white chickpeas. And chaat is a very popular street food in India. It's very easy to make, super healthy, and it's a vegetarian dish.
That sounds great. I can't wait.
Well, in India, chaat is our street food.
Okay.
And chaat means umami of flavors. That means salt, spicy, sweet, tangy, everything together. There are a lot of different varieties of chaat, and every region, every cuisine has their own version of chaat. But here I'm doing a very Northwest style using some local ingredients. We have this wonderful Villa Joreda. It's a Syrian vendor who gives us all these lovely stuff.
Right.
And then we mix all these ingredients together and make this wonderful chaat.
Okay, well, let's get started. We start with some strained Greek yogurt mixed with cumin, salt, and Aleppo.
In chaat, yogurt is very, very important ingredient. In India, you can't make any chaat if you don't have yogurt.
You don't have yogurt.
Because in India, we eat pretty spicy chaat. So yogurt always cool it down.
Sure. Next, we add some chickpeas and zucchini squash, then mint and cilantro for freshness.
Mint is another favorite herb in India that is very refreshing, and because most of the months in India is always very hot and warm, so mint is always very refreshing that we use in salads, even in drinks.
Yes. Then we add in salt mixed with seeds and some more Aleppo.
I'm trying to make this Indian Moroccan style salad. So we have few things, like cilantro, cumin, mint from India. Then we have Aleppo, preserved lemon, and sea salt from here. So give it a little twist. And in Northwest, we get so many beautiful, wonderful ingredients and vegetables that I always like to work with it.
Yeah, it sounds like you use, a lot of local people.
We always want to support the community and the local small vendors, because I also, small business owner.
Right,
So I love to do that.
Next, we add in some toasted cumin and then onto some preserved lemon and Fresno.
This is my favorite part because I love preserved lemon. This is like, just take this to another level.
Finally, we top it all off with some microgreens.
Ta-da! Chana chaat, ready.
It's beautiful.
Here you go, bon appetit.
Bon appetit. It's like an explosion of flavor. Like every time you chew it, something different.
Exactly.
It's so good. I'm glad you have the yogurt in there.
Yeah, that always
cools it off a little bit. The texture is really fun.
Yeah, and it's perfect for summer. You can even take it for a picnic.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
For recipes, farm visits, and more, visit wagrown.com.
We're here on this beautiful fall day on my farm in Spokane in mid-October, and we've just had our first hard frost, so I'm out here harvesting my winter squash. The nice thing about a hard frost and your squash is that the leaves will die back, so then it makes your squash on the ground really apparent. Thankfully, the frost doesn't damage the fruits at all, but a freeze will. So once it's started to frost, it's imperative that you get your squash out of the field. When you're going through and you're kind of determining what's good and what's not to harvest, it's going to be a little bit of a sad time because you're probably going to have a whole lot of pumpkins that look like this. And that's okay. This is perfect. This is orange. It has the netting on it that it's supposed to. The stem is nice and woody. So this is a perfect specimen for a pumpkin. Now this guy here is a little bit less ripe, but still worth picking because even though it's green, I'm gonna cure this guy and it's gonna ripen up inside. To cure a squash, I put them in a really hot room. So it's 80, 90 degrees for a week or two. And what that does is it helps to build the sugars up inside of the squash. So it makes for a sweeter squash that stores for longer, the skins become harder. But with something like this guy, he's gonna have to be cured for at least a week or two. But if I cure it properly, I could eat this 5 months from today and it would still taste delicious. I'm so thrilled that I'll get to enjoy this North Georgia candy roaster sometime in the spring and it'll still be just as delicious. Being able to enjoy the fruits of your own work all the way through the winter time is one of the most rewarding things about gardening.
Coming up, Tomas is trying all different types of microgreens.
Woo! That's got a nice strong hit right off the bat. More than 90% of the world's Kentucky bluegrass comes from the Pacific Northwest. The grass in your lawn or your local park probably started in a field just like this one. Now for turfgrass seed farmers, the process starts in late summer, as soon as they finish harvesting their other crops.
We're planting the same seed in the field here today that you plant in your yard.
Fields are plowed and seeded as quickly as possible, and within weeks, you can start to see the little green blades of grass peeking through the dirt.
The stage of growth that we're at right now is probably what you'd see in most lawns, but this is just the beginning stages of what we're doing for turfgrass seed production. For right now, we're just trying to make sure that the grass is happy as it can be going into winter.
Even though the grass won't be harvested for another year, this is the most crucial time of the plant's growth. Farmers are kind of like scientists. They're calculating and putting precise amounts of water and fertilizer onto the fields.
There's a couple different nutrients that we look at for the majority of what we're doing in the grass. Nitrogen is going to be the main one that we're concerned with, but we also look at phosphorus and potassium, also a handful of other micronutrients to make sure that the soil and the plants are well balanced.
As fall gives way to winter, the perennial grass goes dormant under an insulating layer of snow. But in the spring, the grass re-emerges, lush and emerald green. Farmers check the roots to make sure they're well established, and they check the moisture levels and look for disease and weeds that might contaminate their high-quality seed harvest. Finally, after growing all summer, the grass is ready to be harvested.
This is the same field that we saw just a couple months ago that just looked like your lawn at home. Today it looks a lot different than that. Where at home you are trying to create that nice turf, and so mowing it just keeps it in the vegetative state. Instead of mowing out here, we let the field grow up into the seed production state.
Swathers move through the fields at night, cutting the stalks and laying them down to dry.
We start our swathing process late at night after the dew sets in. There's just enough moisture in the air that the seed will hold in the seed head and not fall out.
After a week of drying in the hot July sun, the seeds are ready to be separated from the stalk, so a giant combine goes to work.
We've waited an appropriate amount of time for the crop to dry down after it's been swathed. The combines are now coming along, picking up the windrows and running them through the machine. The combine is actually a mobile cleaning machine. We take all the material that is being swathed and put it in the front end. It is aggressively ground down to the point where the seed separates from the rest of the straw. Then air is blown through there and cleaned out so that we are left with just the straw on one part and the seed on the other part.
The stalks and leaves of the grass plant are baled up as food for livestock, while the seeds are dumped into a truck and taken to a seed processor. These seeds will end up in lawns, athletic fields, and parks all over the world. Hey, let's go. Now, over the past couple of years, I've heard the word microgreens being talked about a lot, and I've never been quite sure what they are. So today I'm so excited to be meeting with K2 Greens here in Spokane, and they're gonna educate me on all the things microgreens.
My name is Jared Cook, I'm with K2 Greens.
When somebody's asking, what is a microgreen? What's the answer you give to them?
It's similar to a sprout. We're just the next stage of the growing process. Restaurants are picking them up more and more. They use them not only just to make things look pretty, but they actually hold a lot of nutritional value.
Now it's time for me to try some. So I thought I'd start with the arugula. Woo! That's got a nice strong hit right off the bat.
Absolutely.
It's almost nutty at first.
Yep.
It's got that peanutty taste, and then, man, it just comes in with those strong arugula flavors.
This is the purple ramble radish. This is one of my favorites.
Okay. When you think of a radish in your salad, this is like 5 times as strong as that. It's like, boom. They're so tender. They just kind of fall apart in your mouth. And then this is the sunflower.
That is the sunflower. It's gonna be nutty, it's crunchy, it tastes just like sunflower seeds.
Wow. Yeah, it does.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's delicious. Time to see what other people think of these sunflower microgreens.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is surprisingly delicious.
It's good. I could just keep munching on it.
This does not taste
This
like
does not
dirt.
taste
No,
like
you
dirt.
actually taste the sunflower seed.
This is a lot less work than sunflower seeds, so.
This is like a little bit of my healthy greens right here. Very good.
I might have to buy some later after this show is over.
We are in the kitchen at Second Harvest in Spokane, ready to taste some recipes from allrecipes.com. And I've got my friends joining me today. I have Tomas.
Hello, everyone.
And Chef Laurent.
I like to be called a friend. Thank you, Christine.
Of course. Well, we've been doing this for a few years now.
I know.
And
It's been a
it's
great
always
pleasure.
Fun. We love Second Harvest. We love being here. So thank you to Second Harvest. And you can learn more about what they do for the community at secondharvestkitchen.org. But today we are talking about foodies.
Foodies, oh my gosh.
Food lovers everywhere.
They're watching this show right now.
They
We know you are.
If you do go to a city that you're not familiar with, to look up on social media and find a food influencer that you kind of connect with and see, what their recommendations are. And if you're in Washington, of course, you can always try our Instagram page because we know where all the good places are at, right?
For sure, for sure.
Today, we are going to be making pears in red wine.
All right, poire au vin rouge.
So it's poires au vin rouge. Thank you. Merci.
De rien.
Pears in red wine.
Pears in red wine.
Yes.
Okay.
So Washington grown pears, Washington red wine.
I was telling you, I was making this recipe in the 80s. That's to tell you how old I am. That pear has so much depth in flavor because of the red wine.
And I bet this dish smells really good too.
Yeah, when you think
Wouldn't
of all
you think?
those aromatics in there,
Yeah.
the cinnamon and all of that, and the wine. Yeah, I'm excited to try this.
Yeah, this recipe is by Shay, and Shay says this is a dessert that should please any classy crowd, or not classy, doesn't matter, with a simple budget. So that's what
All right.
Shay says. So let's find out how we make poires au vin rouge.
Look at that.
This is absolutely beautiful. What a showstopper.
Oh, this will impress your friends and family. It's not a difficult recipe, but boy, people come over for this. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're impressed.
And don't be afraid to make it ahead of time. Believe me, they're gonna get even better because they're gonna soak up that that red wine coulis flavor, and it's gonna be delicious. Also, you could core the pear and stuff it maybe with a chocolate mousse or just whipped cream inside.
The pear itself is so tender and flavorful, and the wine I thought would be more prominent, more robust, but it is not. It's just like these undertones of the red wine. It's so good.
Some comments that we got. Keeks Barkley says, I have been looking for this recipe. It turned out fantastic. Serve the hot pears with the cold syrup and some vanilla ice cream. Yes. And then Catherine says, I made this dessert for a dinner party and it got rave reviews. So I bet you did get rave reviews. I mean, it's gorgeous. What a way to impress. Give it a try and comment on our Instagram page, Facebook, tag Washington Grown. We'd love to see your creations. You can find the recipe for Poires au vin rouge.
Very good.
Poires au vin rouge. Merci beaucoup.
Pears in red wine. Allrecipes.com, and you can find this recipe here on wagrown.com. So give it a try. From wine and fine dining to craft brews and hole-in-the-wall ramen joints, our state is bursting with flavors any foodie would want. That's it for this episode of Washington Grown. We'll see you next time.